are back with the Master Finals here at the Meta in St. James. We're getting to watch Sayo versus Sam, two very different teams, two very different players, and two friends going at it for a bunch of cash.
Yeah, well, the grand finale to two of the best players in this place right now. They've got some of the most creative teams I've seen in the whole of the meta right now. Like I've played so much VGC, and seeing the Vileplume, seeing a Jellicent used, in this combination, it's a nice refreshing taste, and I think it's some of the best part of some of the early VGC stuff before we get all the clutter of the new Pokemon coming in the expansion. So it's nice to see a fresher taste.
I agree. A couple of interesting things to note here, though. It does look like Sam's going to bring his Trick Room option. I would. We see the Snorlax and the Indeedee. However, something Sam mentioned before, which I think is interesting, only because, it really is going to come down to what Sayo leads with the Scrafty. He doesn't like bringing a Trick Room setter that's not that it can be hit by Fake Out, right? So in this format, we're talking about Dusclops. But he has the Bronzong here, which means even if he let's say he wanted to get Trick Room up right away and he was going to lead Indeedee and Trick Room, because of Levitate, he's still susceptible to getting faked out by that Scrafty.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right, we're going to get into game one here. I didn't quite see the leads. Did you see the leads?
Looks like I did not see the leads from Sayo, but it does look like it's going to be Snorlax and Indeedee from Sam, and it's going to be Scrafty and Charizard from Sayo here. What's interesting, once again, is obviously Psychic Surge is going to stop the Fake Out from the Scrafty. However, as we saw, G-Max Wildfire makes a really big difference.
Oh, man, you should have heard our commentary for that last fight.
I did. I was watching.
Oh my God.
You saw it. It KO'd that Grimmsnarl at like 20% health.
Not even that. From 1/4 damage, it took down a third of a Gastrodon's health. It's such an insane move. Charizard it's got to be in at least the top 5 in this format right now. It's so amazing.
I agree. It's so good because when you look at Pokemon that have consistently done well in VGC, we obviously saw Mega Charizard make quite a name for itself, especially in the early formats with Mega Pokemon. But, even in 2018, a little bit in 2019, we saw like Mega Charizard really makes a name for itself. And I wonder if Nintendo specifically does that because it's such a fan favorite Pokemon. So we're going to see the Follow Me from Indeedee, and I'm curious what this Charizard went to. Is it speed control, or is it aiming for... Oh, no, it's just going for that residual damage.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you what. It's definitely... There's no negative for going for G-Max Wildfire in this. You're gonna do so much damage. It doesn't matter what you're attacking. We're gonna see Indeedee get a little bit more health back. It's not quite enough to survive, and quite gets taken out.
Not quite by that close combat. But I'll tell you what, that took way more damage than I thought it would. I realize it's a neutral hit because it's a normal Psychic type, but even still, that is so much damage.
I'm pretty sure Sam's his plan right now is just to get Snorlax set up as quickly as possible, and Indeedee's more or less disposable at this point. He's got it set up. I'm sure he would have enjoyed another Follow Me in turn 2, but unfortunately, that's not quite what we're going to get.
Which is exactly what I was thinking, because in this situation now, you no longer have Follow Me, which even through Dynamax, Snorlax is going to take a ton of damage from that Scrafty. And I don't know how you offset that now. He's setting up Trick Room, which I think going for the G-Max Replenish alongside the Trick Room is a mistake. I think he could have protected in this situation. It probably would have worked out more in his favor, because then you're in speed control. You've taken minimal damage. A little closer. All right. Good. All right. But in this situation, what we're going to see is that Charizard, I said it wrong twice. That Snorlax is going to take so much damage here because it doesn't protect. Right? It's going to take probably a close combat. It's probably going to take a Wildfire or maybe an Airstream. It depends on whether or not Sayo sees that he's going for Trick Room here. And you have to hope that Snorlax survives the turn.
Yeah, I mean, again, I had spoken to Sam earlier, and his theory is if you get Bronzong on the field, just go for Trick Room. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I mean, as we saw, he's definitely going for it, hoping that they go into that Snorlax and doing as much damage
the
as possible.
Akaberry.
All right, we're going to see the Akaberry come out and the Charizard going into the Bronzong. Will it be enough? Not quite. Ooh, that does a chunk, though.
That does a chunk, but I'll tell you what, not doubling up into the Snorlax. Oh, it looks like he's trying to stop Trick Room entirely here, and it is going to be enough.
No Trick Room for Sam.
No Trick Room, but this is a free G-Max replenish. So if he gets his berry back, he's going to be in a much better position afterwards, especially since he didn't make the mistake of letting his Psychic Terrain run out before he brought in the Hawlucha. That's going to KO the Scrafty right away, and now you get Hawlucha in for free, +1 special defense in the face of this Charizard with Unburden and no Trick Room up.
That's true. Well, you know what? I think this worked out better for Sam. I think Bronzong was a good. It was good to bait out the moves from Seo's side, because now if he did set up the Trick Room, sure, Snorlax would have been the fastest thing on the field, but Hawlucha would have taken a huge. It would have been at such a disadvantage in this scenario right now, and especially seeing Togekiss come out right now, it's good to have Hawlucha maintain its speed stat.
True, but I will say this, right? Snorlax did not get a berry back there, which is going to be really important, and even more important, despite the speed increase, if he doesn't take out this Togekiss or this Charizard, both could KO Hawlucha right here.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
Charizard might not be the bulkiest Pokemon, but as a Dynamo, it looks like
he's
Sam's
going for Swords Dance. It's quite the
that is a bold strategy.
That is quite bold. Yeah, we'll see if it works out for him.
I'm thinking that he probably just got a little greedy there. He's probably thinking that Seo is going to target down that Snorlax because it's the bigger threat. But at the end of the day, Snorlax is in its inoptimal terrain, meaning no Trick Room. He did not get a berry back in this situation, and that's just going to KO the Hawlucha. I mean, that's just that. And from here, you really just need to hit the Snorlax hard enough to stop it, because G-Max Replenish does not have the same effect as G-Max Strike, and it will not lower the speed of these Pokemon.
Yeah, outside of Trick Room, Snorlax is that's an interesting move. But again, it's going to get 2 moves off before it falls to sleep. It's gonna. I can't imagine Togekiss lives this. No, not quite.
Oh, it is gonna get a berry back.
Yeah, well, it found it.
However, Seo does have the option to protect here, and I believe he has one more Pokemon in the back. Whereas, this is Sam's last Pokemon. We are looking at the end of Sam's team, and I believe. Oh, maybe there's not one more for Seo. But if there is,
there's no more Dynamax for Seo. But we're gonna see one more turn to Dynamax for. What's it called? Snorlax. Oh my
Snorlax.
God, how did I...
True, but if he chooses to protect the Charizard here, well, I guess it's really going to depend what Sam decides to target, right? If he targets that Charizard through Protect, he'll probably get the KO.
Now it would be quite the read to. Well, he didn't quite go for it, but I would say it would have been quite the read to expect the Charizard to go for the Protect. Which I personally think we're going to see here. The Whimsicott can just do whatever it wants. It's got a sash.
If Charizard lives through Protect, it's not protecting.
Ah, interesting.
Oh, and it looks like Seo forgot that the Psychic Terrain does stop Prankster.
What a bummer.
Although, you know what I'm curious about? We saw the Citrus Berry, and maybe I didn't count, but Psychic Terrain's been on the field for a long time. This
might quite just be... I mean, it came in at the beginning of the game. What turn is this? This
has to be the end 4 here, because it was not terrain extender. We saw that the Citrus Berry.
This is the last turn. Yeah.
If it's not, Psychic Terrain is still on the board. Now,
how many turns is the last? Is it 5? I thought it was only 4.
Well, what we're going to see here is we're going to see the Moonblast. This is the first turn Snorlax will be asleep, so guaranteed it's going to be asleep here. And it looks like 2 Moonblasts is going to be enough. So Seo may pull this out with the Whimsicott. I think you have to go for Moonblast here.
Well, definitely. I think Sam's only hope is to...
Although
to get a low roll.
You know what? If this Moonblast doesn't KO, even if the Snorlax gets the 1-turn Wake Up, which it's not going to, that's game, that Whimsicott is carrying the Focus Sash. And without residual damage, there's absolutely nothing he can do.
The Whimsicott's so good in this format.
Whimsicott is really good, and I think G-Max Wildfire burning out...
Seo did.
G-Max Wildfire obviously did so much work there.
It does work in every single game. It doesn't matter what type you are. You're gonna get whittled away so quickly from 4 turns of what's effectively what's like not a third, like a fifth of your max health.
I think it's no, 20% is way too much.
I don't. Yeah.
If it's a fifth, then that is absolutely insane.
It is. It's so,
it only lasts 4 turns, so okay. Looks like Sam's going to lead Viocole here, which is an interesting matchup considering the fact that Snorlax really put in the work for him that game. I think it's interesting that he would choose not to bring it again in the face of that Scrafty.
Well, again, I think the only reason it did so much work is because Sayo forgot about priority in the Psychic Surge. I think that game would have been a lot shorter had we seen a different strat come out from Sayo.
Maybe so. I think what Sam is missing, and I don't know if he has the access to it, just looking at his team and the move pools, is he's missing weather, right? Because what he's missing in a game like that is the importance of chip damage.
Yeah.
Right? In sand or with hail. You put yourself in a position where you can target the Whimsicott there, right? And then it's still going to die. And you don't have to worry about Fake Tears or Moonblast or Tailwind or something like that. And then in the face of a +4, probably max HP, bulky Snorlax, Charizard's just not going to do the work.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, we are going to see. Sam does have the drought.
He does, but without there's no chip damage in that situation. And
that's true.
What we're about to see here is we're about to see probably a double up into that Vileplume, which I think is a mistake.
Now, see, this is the benefit of having something that Dynamaxes that can set up the hail or set up the sandstorm. I personally always make sure that I have one rock type move just to set up a sandstorm, just in case I need it. It's such a benefit just to have a Conkeldurr that has that rock slide, or a Rhyperior that has that rock slide. It's such a benefit to have to wipe that slate clean from the rain or the sun, to neuter that additional strength from. Now we're going to see a boost to Charizard because of that sun. I'm not quite sure what.
Ooh, Sam misses. And it's going to be a max airstream now into the Indeedee slot, which means he targeted the Torkoal, which I think he just made a pretty critical error in the sun at +1. I believe Vileplume still outspeeds that Charizard. I've done the calcs myself as I run a Charizard team, and I very much fear the Vileplume lead. We're looking at a situation where Sayo has kind of put himself in a position to potentially sweep. Obviously, that miss on that sleep powder was really, really big. But he's not really in... Sayo didn't put himself in a position to protect his Charizard here. I run a timid Charizard with max speed, and I'm fairly certain that the Sun Chlorophyll doubles the speed, and at +1, Charizard still does not outspeed it.
No, I mean, well,
I would be surprised to see it here.
Yeah, at base 100, the Chlorophyll is just it'd be interesting to see what happens here, because again, we set up the Psychic Terrain. Scrafty doesn't have very much to do.
It's going to switch out.
It switches out. It's a smart play. Whimsicott coming out. I think it's the only thing that you can safely switch into that can tank whatever's about to happen. Not much. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see the sleep powder come out again. And,
there's the G-Max Wildfire.
Unless it's not quite enough, and it's just gonna demolish the Indeedee.
Yeah.
Now, see, I think it would have made more sense to assume that the Charizard was coming out here.
Oh, that is rough. That is 2 misses. I think that's going to be the finals to Sayo right there. I think he put himself in a position where he can no longer deal the damage he needs to this Charizard, because even in this situation, he's going to send out the Hawlucha. I think it's a mistake not to Dynamax it here right away, but he no longer has a way to deal with this Charizard.
I'm afraid the mistake came out as soon as the game started. It's a pretty safe bet to think that you're going to lead with that Charizard. To set up the Sun as Charizard comes out, it's a recipe for disaster.
That's true. I wonder if, obviously with the Citrus Berry, we can assume that Indeedee has a little bit of bulk. I am curious whether or not it would have lived that G-Max Wildfire outside of the Sun. I think in this situation, leading Indeedee Vileplume, well, then you don't have the Sun boost, I suppose. But
Well, we saw the Torkoal switch out anyway. So
oh, we're gonna see Charm from Whimsicott, which I actually knew. I watched the stream of the last match. I knew Sayo had Charm. I forgot about it. Is gonna make a big difference here. That's going to make all the difference because Hawlucha's damage output is going to be next to 0 here. Hawlucha might be a good Pokemon, but only if it gets set up the right way. Yeah. He's going to KO the Whimsicott here, which is important because now it lost the support, but the Hawlucha being at -2, and the Charizard is going to hit it with Max Airstream, or maybe the Vileplume, which it is going to be the Vileplume. So now, without Trick Room, that Charizard is at +2 speed or +1. No, it's at +2 speed.
Now it's at +2. It started with a Max Airstream.
Yep. So 2 Max Airstreams and Max Wildfire are probably going to be all that it needs to wrap up because even though
Hawlucha is fast, it has Unburden, it has +1, I believe. But
it has +1 speed, but it's at -2 attack.
Yeah, it's at -2 attack. I'm afraid it's just not going to be enough. It doesn't matter how fast you are if you're not hitting hard enough.
Yep. I think bringing the Trick Room Pokemon like Torkoal in a situation, even though Vilecoal might be a very strong lead, I think it's a very aggressive lead that ends up suffering in the end game if you can't handle what you need to handle fast. Because what's going to happen here is Torkoal is going to start going for eruptions, but it's going to move last, which means if he decides to double target it, it's not going to be doing any damage, and I don't think he's as scared of this Hawlucha.
I think against a Charizard, there is almost no situation you bring Torkoal in at all. I can't imagine a scenario where Torkoal is so important that you need to set the sun up for a Charizard to just sweep your team like we're going to see right here. And that Max Knuckle going into Charizard,
he's trying to get his attack back up, and it's just not going to do what he needs it to do.
Unfortunately, Hawlucha it's got such an uphill battle against a Fairy Flying type and a Fire Flying type.
It
so
looks
much
like
resistance.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a double up. Oh, we're going to see the Dazzling Gleam, which is going to chip down the Torkoal. Eruption's still probably going to do a lot of damage here, but Hawlucha is in just a very advantageous position, and it's just not going to do what it needs.
It's just so much special defense. It's just not enough.
I mean, that's still 50%, which is really, really good.
But
what's going to happen?
Torkoal in the sun.
But the Air Slash from Charizard here is going to KO the Hawlucha, and then Togekiss can single target with Dazzling Gleam or can Air Slash the Torkoal in return, and I think that's pretty much just it.
Yeah, we did just see the Max Guard coming out from Hawlucha.
Oh, that's true. Well, no, he. Is that what he did? He Max Guarded. I
believe what he's hoping to do here is he's hoping that they're just going straight. Well, see, that's a very smart move from Sayo here. That's what you have to expect. Now the Torkoal's not going to take very much from this. Let's be honest.
It's not, but in return, it's not going to KO with Eruption.
Well, it's also not going to kill Charizard. Charizard's at +2 right now. It's definitely gonna kill the.
I don't think it kills.
Togekiss.
I don't think it's gonna kill the Togekiss here.
Oh, just barely.
It just didn't have the damage output. That extra damage from Dazzling Gleam just makes all the difference. And even more importantly, Sayo still has another Pokemon in the back. The only thing he's lost so far is the Whimsicott. He still has Scrafty in the back, and now that Sam's Dynamax is over, he is free to fake out, especially since. Psychic Terrain is over.
There's no more Psychic Terrain. Scrafty is pretty much safe here to do whatever it wants, and I think one fake out to pretty much anything on Sam's side is going to seal the deal, but I don't even think it matters.
That's true. Max guarding last turn. Well, it is because I don't know if Sam realized that
Torkoal lives.
Torkoal does live, but it will not live this Dazzling Gleam.
No,
wow! It held on.
Holy Toledo!
Wow. However, Hawlucha does faint to that. I don't know if Sam knew that protecting and then max guarding and then protecting could do that. What we saw in that situation is, and now granted, I don't know for sure. I believe that Torkoal is choice spec'd.
Now, why did that Torkoal just do 0 damage to anything?
Well, because it used Eruption. It's Eruption at 2 health. So the damage output is significantly lower. I think what Sam needed to win that game is I think he needed to bring a much harder Trick Room.
And not bring Torkoal.
I think Bronzong and Didi. I think he knew that Sayo was probably going to continue to lead the Scrafty, so he saw no reason to bring Bronzong to set Trick Room. However, I think if you lead Indeedee Vileplume or something in a situation where you can switch, it was the O2. That is.
I think Sayo won.
Oh. I'm not quite sure.
Are we not paying attention?
No,
Sam win? I don't recall this.
No, because
we're gonna
Whimsicott. No,
check,
because
we're gonna
Whimsicott.
check. We're back in the newsroom here. Where,
But Whimsicott killed
got
the.
some.
That was match
game
2.
2.
Oh, the reset. Reset. Just forgot this. James can
Oh.
All right, so this.
Okay, all right.
Sorry,
so that makes
folks,
a lot
this
more
wasn't-
sense.
This wasn't
I
the
was
grand
not aware
finals,
of that.
in fact, this was the losers final leading up to the grand final.
No, it wasn't the final, but in the grand finals, if the person from the losers, this is a double elimination, so everyone has to lose at least once, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So now Sam lost that one in the winners bracket. Now they're both losers in the grand finals.
We're all losers. All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna
Bracket reset.
we're gonna start back up from scratch here.
So it because it's double elimination, Seo has to win 2 matches in a row to win the grand finals. However, if Sam wins here, because if Sam had won in that situation, I believe that would have been the end of the grand finals, correct? Sam would have just taken it, or would it have also reset? Yeah. If Sam had won that first match, would he have just taken the grand finals?
Yeah, if Sam
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it's like Magic Finals. If you
Yes,
lose
so-
one
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
into an undefeated match.
double elimination.
Got it.
So
Okay.
Seo had not lost yet. So now he has 1 loss. He needs 1 more loss.
Yes.
They both are at 1 loss. So at this point right now, it's a blank slate.
It is. I think
we sure know plenty about these teams by now.
we see Whimsicott Charizard. I think
What a surprise!
I think what Sam has to do here is get Vileplume and Snorlax in Trick Room. He leads
Oh,
the
here we go.
Indeedee
This
Vileplume.
is the lead you thought was the most beneficial.
I really do, because I think even if he leaves Scrafty in this situation, you switch the Vileplume in for I'm sorry.
Not
you-
Torkoal.
No, not Torkoal. For the Bronzong,
Oh, yeah.
you follow me and then set up your Trick Room. Then you have Vileplume and Snorlax in the back to take advantage of. And even if you have to Belly Drum in technically the second turn of the Trick Room, you have 3 turns left to Dynamax, and nothing on Seo's team is living those +6 attacks. And I think that's Sam's win condition, and I think trying to get tricky by trying to outplay Seo without Trick Room is a mistake, because I think his team is built to operate in Trick Room, even though not every option is mandatory for it. We are going to see Charizard G-Max here.
I think Sam's best bet right now is just to eliminate that Charizard as quickly and as efficiently as possible. If he can manage it, I think he's got a couple answers on his side that could deal with the rest of Seo's team. It's just that Charizard's just so strong.
I know. We could see a Follow Me from Indeedee here, which would help, which we are going to see, but I think losing Indeedee this early is going to be a really big problem moving forward, because as I said in the beginning, Levitate on Bronzong is going to mean that if he can't get it in safely, he is going to lose. He is not going to be able to set up Trick Room.
Yeah, the smart move going for G-Max Wildfire here is
I agree, because even though that Indeedee lives, it is now going to die to that G-Max Wildfire. Now, Vileplume could have gone for the Sleep Powder here, which I believe it may, although I forgot about the Citrus Berry.
well, it's
we're
going to
gonna
live.
see
It's
Sludge
going to
Bomb.
live one more turn. See, again, the Whimsicott's got a sash though.
I think he was hoping for a poison there.
Yeah, well,
I do. Aren't we all?
aren't we all? We're all constantly hoping to poison our enemies.
But I will say this now as well. Because he doesn't lose Indeedee here, he no longer has a free switch into one of his sweepers. So he's in a position where Charizard has gotten the G-Max Wildfire on the field. Whimsicott has been brought down to its Focus Sash, but can still go for something like a Tailwind or
well, it's fast enough. It's
or a
fast
Fake
enough
Tears
to,
or a
to
Charm.
KO that
Oh.
Indeedee without him having to worry.
Seeing Torkoal in the back, though, does make me a little bit upset. I think Sam is really just kind of dedicated to making that work. Granted, what we're forgetting about last match was he missed 2 Sleep Powders in a row.
That's true.
Which
I mean,
is
we
a
didn't,
big deal.
Again, if he had sleep powdered this first turn, I think he would have been better off. Honestly, I think a sleep powder into the Charizard, slowly getting rid of those G-Max or those Dynamax turns are so important for Sam at this point. Getting rid of that Charizard is priority number 1.
Yep, and there's that Tailwind I was talking about. I think
And the sleep powder, unfortunately, Max Guard.
But once again, what we see in this situation is Whimsicott's about to go down here. but Sam is still stuck on his lead, which just isn't going to do it for him.
No,
Even
definitely
through the max guard, Charizard has one more turn of Dynamax in Tailwind. Is Indeedee going to go down here? Indeedee lives the turn.
Wow, interesting.
So it could follow me here to redirect, but Sam is really putting a lot on that Vileplume.
Yeah, I mean, again, that Whimsicott, it basically just gave Sayo a free switch here.
Yep.
Now, bringing in Scrafty wouldn't help very much. The Psychic Terrain is still up. I'm not quite sure what else he could possibly have in the back.
Well, you say...
the Jellicent.
There's the
Oh, boy.
Jellicent. Okay, so he brought the answer to Trick Room. I think Sayo recognizes the win condition that Sam is playing with, even if Sam doesn't. I do. I think, because as we saw from a little while ago, he's got Hawlucha and Torkoal in the back, which is not the answer to this team. As we can see, even if Charizard undynamaxes here, right, on the following turn, he's free to go for a Blast Burn into any slot if he wants. And even if he has to recharge, Charizard has done its job at this point. You know, it's at +2, or its speed is multiplied because of the Tailwind. You know, Charizard is going to move first here, so whatever happens, it is going to be the Airstream. So he's just going to continue boosting his speed.
It's a smart move.
You know, bring the Jellicent plus max Airstreaming is such a good answer, because even if Bronzong managed to get its Trick Room up, all you have to do is reverse it. That Charizard is carrying Protect Tailwind, or Protect Trick Room, and all of a sudden those speed tiers have flipped back on your head, and, you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What is your answer to that?
There's a lot that goes into these games here.
You know, we do see the Sleep Powder from the Vileplume, but at what cost?
Finally coming. Yeah, well, Charizard, it's still a huge threat. That Blast Burn, it's again, it's not going to be able to do its thing right now. Now Torkoal has an option here to come in. The Charizard is at full health. I'm pretty sure
It is, but the item could have been confirmed if I had looked a little more carefully, but I think the no grass move option is proof that this Torkoal is carrying the choice specs, and while it may be helpful, and it may even lead to a KO on this Charizard, but it's at full health. He's going to Energy Ball the Jellicent, which makes sense, but the other thing you have to remember is that Jellicent is more specially bulky than it is physically. He has not brought the Pokemon to hit this Jellicent the way he needs. Now, Sam does still have his Dynamax, which is interesting, but Psychic Terrain is going to run out soon, and Unburden isn't going to help him if he can't get rid of the Psychic Seed.
Yeah, well, I mean, Torkoal does have the Protect, so maybe it doesn't have specs, or unless he's hoping to use G-Max as his way out of specs.
That is a good point. Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. I've been sitting here talking about this, but only because he kept clicking Eruption despite all the health loss. He has other options. But it is the Charcoal. I do remember seeing the Charcoal. We're going to see Vileplume go down here. Hopefully this isn't the last turn of Psychic Terrain. Otherwise, that Hawlucha is just in a much worse position. I also think it's interesting that Jellicent would ignore the Torkoal, only because the Vileplume was going to die to the G-Max Wildfire that turn. You know, obviously you don't want it to get off another free Sleep Powder or something like that. But, okay, so he did bring it in at the right time. Even if this is the end of Psychic Terrain, he did the right thing. Which it's not.
Got one more turn left.
But now you're in a position where that Torkoal is still at full health. And even though it's slower than the Jellicent is slowly being chipped down.
Smart move from Sam going for the Protect.
I agree. I think it's the move. I think Sayo likely to target it because it's important to get the KO, although a Water Spout could just come out here in the sun.
Well, it's not going to take out the Charizard.
It is not going to take out the Charizard.
Now, does Charizard wake up this next turn? I mean,
we're at 2 turns, so it has a better chance of waking up than not. I think Hawlucha not Swords Dancing there is why Sam is going to be in a slightly worse position for this game.
If Hawlucha had anything other than that Swords Dance, I think he'd be better off with a Rock Slide. Especially against this
matchup. I don't
matchup.
think Hawlucha learns Rock Slide, does it?
It did it Gen 6, I think.
I'm going to take a quick look, because if it does, you're
prove me wrong,
right.
I dare you.
Well, I'm curious, because if it does, I've never seen it. I've only ever seen on Hawlucha Sword Stance and then Stab. So I would be really interested to find that out.
It definitely had a... Ooh, boy, that Jellison barely hanging on.
But see, that's an exact situation. He protected the Hawlucha there, which wasn't a bad idea. But what he... And there's the Charizard Wake Up. But what... Because he didn't take an optimal turn there, he's now missing those important KOs. There's the
now
Strength
he's all...
Sap.
Now he's...
And there's Jellison
Now he's
back
down
up.
on HP. Jellison all the way back up. Yeah, I think one extra turn of attack into either the Jellison or the Charizard would have. I mean, at this point, the Jellison because Charizard's dead. But yeah, I think it would have benefited from taking out that Jellison ASAP.
Yep.
The Protect was a good. It was a good
for the
read.
Intimidate. So now, Hawlucha's going to be at -2.
That's at -2.
And he's got 2 turns of Dynamax left, so he could go back up to neutral with the Max Knuckles. But the question is that going to be enough? These are the last 2 Pokemon for both Trainer.
Yeah, Scrafty's got some bulk to it. I'm not sure it's gonna. There's no way.
It does get Rock Slide. I had no idea Hawlucha got Rock Slide, and I don't know why more players aren't running it.
Yeah, well, couldn't tell you. See, setting up in this format is just so risky. When you have there's so much easier ways of getting stat boosts.
But you had the guaranteed turn of Sleep with the Charizard. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it didn't. You know, he didn't take advantage of it anyway. But the Jellison's still such a. It's such a huge adversary against both of these Pokemon. That does a lot of damage.
Even at -2, that was a lot of damage. But you know what the other thing is that I don't understand from Sam's side. Even if he knew he was going to get faked out there, 100%, there was no doubt in his mind, which is probably the case. -3 on Hawlucha. I don't know why he keeps clicking Eruption.
I don't know why he keeps clicking on Jellison also. There's just so many options for Jellison to just Strength Sap away and get all of its health back. He's getting marginal stat boosts to his speed, only for Jellison to receive
that's all, and you know,
zero damage.
And that's the other thing, and maybe that's why Sam has decided to go for Max Airstreams here instead of Max Knuckles in order to avoid letting the Jellison gain too much health back. However, in return, if Jellison goes for another Strength Sap here, he's going to be at -4, and by choosing to Swords Dance after the Dynamax, he may be in a position where he's only letting that, you know, he's never going to get on top of the Jellison, because all the Jellison has to do is keep Strength Sapping him, and it's not going to make a difference.
I think at this point they're both low enough to where a Water Spout would probably kill them both. I'm not sure how fast it... Have we seen Jellison? No, Trick Room.
Jellison setting up the Trick Room for itself, which does benefit because now...
And now he's got some fast... Yeah, there's some...
Then there's the Sunlight, which means I can definitely see a big Water Spout coming out here, and I think that's going to be Game 1 to Seo. Seo really had this end game planned out and letting... I think with Hawlucha in its face, he absolutely had the answers he was looking for.
We're looking at Sam setting up a Swords Dance here. I guess it's just hoping for some reads here on Seo's side.
Yeah, I mean, this is no Kyogre Water Spout, but this is still going to be a ton of damage.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I still have nightmares of Oras VGC.
Oh, we all have. But again, this is where Sam is kind of putting himself in a worse position. He's now at -1.
Well, yeah, but
right?
but now he's at a higher attack stat for Jellison to just Strength Sap him again.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I'm not sure that was the right move.
And Torkoal just protected, so he's not going to be able to double protect. And I just don't think the damage is here. Torkoal is going to move first in Trick Room, which is interesting considering the Max Airstreams. But this is just another Water Spout that's going to KO the Torkoal, and Hawlucha has no recovery.
There's nothing Torkoal can do, or there's nothing Hawlucha can do here. I mean, unless it just Swords Dances and hopes to out Swords Dance the Strength Sap.
Except it's still slower.
It's
we are still in Trick
yeah,
Room.
I mean,
one more Water Spout is going to be this game.
Yeah, that's true. There's not much else that can happen here.
He could protect. There's 2 turns. His only out here is a double protect.
Sam is +1 right now?
He is at +1 because he was at -3, and that was 2 Swords Dances.
That was a protect. What are we going to see coming out? The Water Spout not going to do anything. A +1, +3 speed, +1 special defense. He's not gonna live, but there's almost he's going for the double.
Gonna fail.
No.
All right, I mean that's RNG for you, but
I think
at
he's
the
just
same
hoping
time.
to run out the
Trick Room. Yep.
Either the Trick Room or the turns at which or the water spout. If he can get rid of that water spout, it only has 5 PP as far as I know.
True.
So
I mean,
he's
it
trying
could
to
be
get
as
rid of
high
that.
as 8, but you're absolutely right.
That's true.
PP ups are very hard to get your hands on in this game.
Yeah, well, Battle Tower.
Heading into game 2, once again, I think Sam is ignoring the Snorlax, and I don't know why.
Yeah, Snorlax, I think from what we've seen over the last 3 games, it's the only thing that's done anything effective at Sayo. It's the only effective Pokemon he's seemed to bring here, apart from Vileplume being able to put things to sleep, or Indeedee. I'll cover. No, just me. Unfortunately, I didn't win enough. Again, the Snorlax, with its G-Max, it's the only thing that did anything super. It's the only thing that made a dent in Sayo's team. If we see Snorlax come out this time, I think Sam really has a chance. But there's not much. There's not much in the way of the rest of his team that can really put a dent in Sayo's core. We're gonna see what happens here going into game 2. Again, we see quite the overwhelming lead coming from Sayo with 3 wins on his side. We're going to see the Togekiss and the Charizard come out. That's an interesting swap.
It is an interesting swap because, as we saw from the earlier game, Bronzong does not only live through the Aqua Berry, that G-Max Wildfire, but with Indeedee, he is putting himself in a position to follow me. Now, I think kind of the overestimation of bulky Indeedee with the Citrus Berry is that you're not living this hit, right? Or is that you're probably going to live the double up, because Togekiss is probably going to go for something like a Dazzling Gleam here, and it's just, and G-Max Wildfire, which I assume is what's coming out here, plus Dazzling Gleam, I don't think is going to KO that Indeedee, which means you're burning as much as 3 turns of Trick Room to get that Snorlax in a position where it can sweep. Now, granted, sometimes that's enough.
Well,
right?
I mean, if Sayo go, I mean, we did see the Follow Me come out. So if Sayo went for some high attacking moves here and we KO'd the Indeedee this first turn,
then
that's a free switch in.
We're setting up
the
want.
Trick Room. We are setting up the Trick Room on Sam's side here. We're
Yes.
going to see the Gigantamax come out from Charizard. Not surprising. However, I wasn't paying very much attention. I'm not sure he even brought the Snorlax.
He did. I think he
had to have, right? He's going for the Trick Room strat.
I'll tell you the other thing he's married to, and I don't understand why he keeps bringing it.
Torkoal.
He brought Torkoal. He brought Indeedee, Bronzong, Torkoal, and Snorlax.
Well, I'm afraid nothing else works in Trick Room on his team.
The Vileplume.
It's too fast. There's
Vileplume. It's slow enough against Sayo's team that I think it was more his answer. See, here's the Citrus Berry.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I
think Citrus Berry is the wrong item on Indeedee. I got to be honest with you. As nice as Bulk might be, this Air Slash isn't going to KO. He's going to get Trick Room up.
Yeah,
and he has to hope Indeedee dies the next turn.
I mean, honestly, I think it would have been to Sam's benefit if Indeedee did get KO'd here.
I like no bulk, max special attack, max speed, focus Sash Indeedee. And then you put the 4 EVs in something that doesn't matter, because in my opinion with Trick Room and when Hatterene Indeedee was like the go-to Trick Room when this format started, I knew the only way I was going to beat it with the team I was playing at the time is if I didn't KO the lead. If I didn't KO the Hatterene or the Indeedee on turn 1, I guaranteed was going to burn out 2 turns of Trick Room, and that's what I had to do in order to win.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? And it's the same thing here that Sam's facing.
It's a very strange scenario where letting your opponent's Pokemon survive longer is beneficial to your strategy.
Is optimal. Yep.
But it is. We see it here. Indeedee, there's not much Indeedee can do to help out a Bronzong in this scenario. I mean, we see it go down here. But again, in this turn, having a G-Max Snorlax would have been your best bet.
Yep, or the Belly Drum. Or the Belly Drum could have gone up. And either or, it would have been more optimal. Although I will say this, right? Knowing that Togekiss yawned into that slot, it is less interesting. But just like Sayo doesn't have a way to stop Vileplume from sleep powdering things potentially, Sam can't do anything against sleep either. Yawn is such a powerful move in this generation, and I don't know if he has a way to handle it.
Well, Yawn is weaker than Sleep Powder in that he could just switch out Bronzong now.
Well, but he didn't target the Bronzong. If he if this Gyro Ball doesn't KO Togekiss, which it's not going to, and Snorlax didn't Dynamax, which does make things just a little bit better, because if it gets Yawned this turn, then maybe it decides not to switch out, or maybe decides, although it just belly drummed.
Now we might just see Snorlax die.
I think we're going to see the Yawn from Togekiss into the Bronzong, though, which is interesting. Maybe he's trying to burn out Trick Room and then leave him without a position to be
after this turn, there's only
one turn left.
2 turns of Trick Room.
Is
right?
it?
Isn't it
So
4?
So it was the
I
turn it
believe
was
it's
set
4.
up, and it goes down to 4. And then there was the turn where the Indeedee died, which means this is the 3rd turn. So there's 2 turns left. There's 2 turns of Trick Room left. And I think if he doesn't KO this
Look how
Togekiss,
low Snorlax is right now.
he has to KO Togekiss here, though, because otherwise he's going to lose to Sleep. But I think he also needs to swap out the Bronzong and preserve it, because Torkoal isn't taking the residual damage from G-Max Wildfire.
That's true.
I think Sam is playing a very reactionary game. I think he's trying to think ahead a little bit, and maybe in this set he's realized that Trick Room is his win condition going into game 2. But I don't know. I think he's I think maybe he's acting too quickly, or he's thinking too quickly, because even though he's going to get G-Max Snorlax with Belly Drum in Trick Room, he wasted so many turns to get
Yeah,
that.
I mean, there's just not enough time left for Sam. The Trick Room, he's not going to be able to set up another Trick Room.
And this is Seo's lead.
Right, yeah, he hasn't.
These are Seo's first two Pokemon. His Snorlax is at 20% of its health.
20% of its health, 3rd turn in, finally about to attack.
Yep.
We're going to see Body Press come out. I mean, I guess that was its only option.
It needs to find a berry here. Snorlax has to find a berry here. Togekiss is going to go down, and he is going to find a berry, which is good. But you're on your last turn of Trick Room. You don't know what Seo has in the pack. It could be this Jellicent, which Snorlax can hit, but in return, Charizard's going to do some big damage. Oh! Wow. Okay, so I guess it's Seo's turn to miss some really important attacks.
Yeah, well, it's about time. Sam's got pretty unlucky this match, or in the last couple matches, technically. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I think body pressing was your biggest mistake instead of switching out. Having Torkoal come in right now, especially with basically what is effectively a free switch in after that miss.
And I'll tell you what, I guarantee you Charizard's going to protect here. And once again, as we talked about, without the chip damage, he does not have a way to handle that Whimsicott.
Yeah, I mean, Sam has to hope that you get that first turn wake up and KO that Indeedee, assuming that Charizard is gonna protect. It would be the smartest move, and hopefully he anticipates that. That
well,
would
in
be
Trick
the best.
Room though, this is going to be Bronzong's first turn of sleep, which means guaranteed it's not moving this turn.
Is that? No.
It just fell asleep last turn, yeah. So
that's true.
Because it just body
There's
pressed the Charizard.
one guaranteed turn.
You know, and Bronzong is one of those Pokemon that has relatively interesting movesets in the sense that it can do a lot of different things. It didn't protect, by the way. No berry.
Yeah. Charizard's definitely gone.
Charizard's gone, but no berry.
Yeah.
Did not find a berry. It's going to Moonblast the Snorlax.
Anywhere near enough to kill Snorlax.
I know, but that damage is going to rack up, especially now that
Yeah, Trick Room's gone.
Trick Room is gone.
No more
He
Trick
has to find a berry here. If he doesn't, and I don't think Sam is bringing Recycle either. I think he has Facade, Seed Bomb, Darkest Lariat, and Protect. There's the Intimidate.
The Intimidate. Again, at +6, right? At +6, I'm not sure a -1 matters very much against these two.
It could through a Protect.
Max Guard coming out on Sam's side. It's definitely your best bet.
Yeah. Obviously now the Bronzong is asleep, but you know the other thing that I think Sam failed to utilize this entire match is Ally Switch. Maybe he doesn't like using that move, as a lot of VGC players don't. You know, it feels a little dirty to them, I suppose. But I think it puts him in such a strong position.
Again,
there's the Max Guard. He's gonna waste his last turn of D-Max, Max Guarding in this situation. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he has Recycle. It's gonna be foul play. Maybe I was wrong. You know, maybe. Oh, wow.
The wake up and the Trick Room.
He needed that wake up there. I think
That was so critical. Sam is getting so lucky this match. Now, but we have a +5 Snorlax right now.
back in Trick Room.
Yeah, back in Trick Room. I think Sam,
However,
I think Sam can take this.
I believe it will die to one more. See, no recycle. I think it will die to one more Moonblast. He has to KO the Scrafty here, so that way
He could
the
1v1 the
Torkoal can come in and KO the Whimsicott.
Yeah, I think Scrafty is his only true adversary at this point.
Does Scrafty still have Fake Out? Is this Scrafty?
No, it didn't.
No, it foul played.
It foul played last turn. Yeah. I think we're safe here. That was a safe. That was a safe gyro ball into Whimsicott, and we're gonna see. What was it? A facade.
Facade.
We're gonna see facade come in on
Into the
Scrafty.
Scrafty.
It's not gonna be
enough.
enough. We're gonna see foul play come out on Snorlax, and Snorlax is gonna go down. Ooh, that's crucial. But again, we're having Torkoal come out here. In what's effectively a fresh Trick Room.
I'll tell you what,
still got some bulk left to it.
Yeah, and I think Eruption's going to be enough here. I do believe this game is going to go to Sam, which is important. However, I think Sam in Game 3 of this set, for the win, needs to do a little bit better at protecting his resources.
I agree.
And I think he needs to use them a little bit better, a little bit more switching out, a little bit more. I mean, granted, right, I really have to eat my words because Max guarding on that last turn of G-Max was really smart because obviously he wasn't in Trick Room, which means the foul play Moonblast definitely would have KO'd. But it was high risk, high reward, right? Because he had to wake up with Bronzong there. He is going to go for the ally switch, which I don't think is going to matter here only because the Torkoal's going to move first.
Yeah. Again, there were. I mean, it was really it was the smartest option on Sam's side. We're gonna see the win go to Sam. We're gonna go to the grand final of the grand finals.
Yes,
the last
game 3.
Oh boy,
which I'm excited to watch because I want to see how Sam adapts.
It's interesting. We've seen Sam adapt slowly, but again, we've seen him get here. He got to a game 3, which is very important. After 3 consecutive losses, I think he figured out what he has to do. In that last game, I'm pretty sure he decided, all right, my other options didn't work for me. Getting Trick Room, getting Snorlax out, and doing as much damage as possible is my best bet.
Oh, no. Oh, Sam, please, no.
Boy. All right, well,
no.
All right, well,
Oh, gosh. It doesn't work. Sam, I'm so sorry. I know you want Viocole to beat Sayo.
You know what?
But it's just, you see him click that in, and you're like, because he won there because of Trick Room.
Yeah, and he's even after Trick Room, Sayo did so much work with that Charizard still. Seeing this choice from Sam is rather disappointing, but I think it's Sam's
won.
Big brain move, trying to just assume that Sayo's not going to go for the lead in Charizard. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, and you know what I think the other problem is when you look at a team like Sam's, right? He has 1 to 2 Dynamax options, right? Because you're not going to Dynamax the Indeedee. You're not going to you may Dynamax the Torkoal, but really it's Hawlucha or it's Snorlax or it's nothing, right? But if you look at Sayo's team, he's got so many options. His team's a little bit more adaptable.
Yeah, I mean, even if he doesn't decide to bring Charizard in, Duraludon is such a strong Pokemon.
It's such a strong Dynamax Pokemon. Even Jellicent
and Togekiss. I mean, he's got so much power on his side. It is interesting not to see the Charizard come in the beginning, but I believe it's the smartest choice that Sayo could have made.
It is, but I'm willing to bet it's in the back. I bet he led the Jellicent, predicting the Bronzong, and even though this is going to do probably quite a bit of damage, bringing Torkoal in the face of something like this is rough because Torkoal's best form of operation is in the sun and in Trick Room because Eruption is such a powerful move, right? But what you're looking at is a situation where you're probably getting hit first. You know, we see a lot of players in this situation target the Vileplume. But if you can do that, KO the Vileplume, and in return, next turn, do a ton of damage to the Torkoal, that Torkoal is neutered for the rest of the game.
Well,
you know, it's got Heat Wave, it may have Solar Beam, but I don't think it's the optimal Pokemon if you're not bringing Trick Room.
We're seeing the Torkoal protect here. It's a very odd choice given the opponents here.
Oh,
and
wow.
Another miss on the Sleep Powder.
Although
Sam just cannot get lucky with that Sleep Powder.
No, he cannot. But Sam did just set up Trick Room for this Torkoal. I think Vileplume is definitely something that needs to be switched out in this situation, though. Now, we saw last time that with some chip damage, this Eruption is going to do over 50% to the Togekiss, which is a big deal. A crit may KO. I don't know the calc off the top of my head, but you kind of see Sam in this position now where he's just trying to deal damage, but he can't. Nothing he brings except for that Snorlax can deal super effective damage to that Jellicent.
Not even that. There's not a whole lot on Sam's side of the field that's going to do very much of anything against what is. I can only assume that to switch things up, there's probably a Duraludon in the back.
I hope. I would love to see Duraludon here, but as we're going to see, once again, I think Sam is playing a game where he leads Pokemon and he deals with what he has to deal with, right? Because if he had switched out Indeedee into that situation, that Shadow Ball would have done nothing. But I don't think Sam is properly utilizing his resources because, I mean, what do you think Jellicent's going to do there, right? You know Torkoal is faster.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, I think he was hoping for a Water Spout to come out into the Protect on the Torkoal, but like even still, you have to know that there's an option to switch into Indeedee, as you said, get that possibility of the Ghost type move going into anything else.
Because you know Torkoal is the slowest thing.
Yeah.
You know, so Water Spout is just going to do less and less damage, and even with the Strength Sap, because neither of these Pokemon is going to give Jellicent the recovery it needs for Water Spout to do the damage it has to.
The Helping Hand is going to take out the Togekiss.
There goes the Togekiss.
That's one less thing to worry about. But again, that's a free switch into something that's...
It's true. Here's the Water Spout, which is just going to do negligible damage. I mean, even that Torkoal, that's a super effective hit, but at the HP stat it's at, we're just going to see it do nothing.
Now, if Charizard comes out right now, it is in the sun. It might be able to get some work done, but it'd be interesting to see if Sayo actually brought it this time around.
It would. That was the end of Sayo's lead, so we're going to see one of its two remaining Pokemon. If he brought the Whimsicott, though, so he's got Strength Sap plus the Charm, and neither player has used their Gmax yet. Every single game we've casted with this matchup, we've seen Sayo Dynamax turn 1. But he's holding it back now, which means if he has the Charizard in the back, even with Sam having the same option, it's but it's Duraludon, which I am so happy to see. I think Helping Hand Eruption is definitely the play here. I could see Duraludon protecting, however. Jellicent, I think setting up the Trick Room in the face of Pokemon, especially in the face of something like Torkoal that does not mind being in Trick Room, I think was a mistake. I think going for a Water Spout turn 1, despite the Protect from Torkoal, which he obviously didn't know was coming, would have been a better play because now he wouldn't be in this position.
That's true. Okay, we see
no Protects.
Now maybe Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Helping Hand was before Protect. I forgot. Helping Hand has the highest priority in the game. So.
Priority got some weird interactions.
Yep, but this is going to be the Jellicent.
I think Jellicent just dies.
I mean, so here's the situation, right, where we see that Vileplume was actually a good lead for Sam, but I think after...
We sure did cry about it as soon as he decided to bring it in.
I certainly wasn't happy about it, but I think once... all right, we're gonna... there's no fake out here. And there's no fake out here.
No fake out. There's very little Scrafty can do in this scenario. Sam's still got Hawlucha in the back. Hawlucha has...
And 3 turns of Psychic Terrain. All he has to do is continue Helping Hand Eruption.
And then as soon as something dies, just G-Max that Hawlucha and you win the game, more or less.
Yeah, these are the last 2 Pokemon.
It is so interesting to see Sam come back like this. Again, I stressed it. We probably shouldn't speak too soon. But
maybe not. But
Trick Room,
there's
left.
One more turn of Trick Room. And we're in a position where I wonder if Sayo overthought going into the final match. I wonder if he thought, okay, Sam has now recognized the win condition, which we also recognized, which was Trick Room, right? And he's like, okay, I'm bringing my answers to what I see as his only win condition. And now he brings Vileplume. Yeah. And I wonder if Sam just went and, once again, with that high-risk, high-reward playstyle, thought, okay, if I can win the game with Trick Room and then bring Vileplume, how is he going to know how to beat that now? Because he's not going to have the answer to Vileplume that he has.
Now we saw the Helping Hand.
Oh my God!
Out the Duraludon.
That wasn't even a crit.
That was a full health Dynamax Duraludon. Again, I was about to say something crazy like Duraludon Dynamax is so important. It could, you know, one shots a lot. A Dynamax Duraludon is so strong.
Wow, I am blown away. I mean, granted, I love Duraludon. It is my favorite Pokemon from this generation. And it's got some really good natural bulk. It's got a great base HP stat. It's got great defense. And special defense is where it's lacking.
Yeah.
But I am blown away.
That did so well. It did have the helping hand to help it out. I'm not sure it would have KO'd in one shot at the beginning there.
Maybe not, but
wow. This, oh god, I think this is just a win for Sam here.
I think we were a little hard on Biocoal.
You know, I mean, it definitely didn't work the 2 times it failed him. So, you know what? Maybe maybe Sam was playing dumb this whole time. This was all just a ruse.
Wow.
We are going to see Sam take the grand finals.
Wow. Congratulations
so
to Sam. He really made me eat my words there, but I got to tell you, I really did not think that was his win.
That was such a fantastic showing from both parties involved. It is so wonderful to see how even in the grimmest, if that's even a word, I don't even know if grimmest is a word, even in the most grim of circumstances, you can come back and take the finals by just outthinking your opponent. That's what I love about VGC. It's just something you can't do in singles.
Wow. I'm truly blown away. I mean, listen, guys. If you're out there watching, we are at the Meta in St. James, 556 North Country Road, St. James, New York. If you're into Smash, you can totally come here. If you're into Pokemon, you can come here. If you're into just playing PC games, this is the place to be. And we hope to see you here. We hope to continue growing our VGC community, and we hope. We hope you guys come to join us, all right? If you like Smash, if you like Pokemon, if you like video games, this is the place to be in St. James, all right?
All right, and definitely check out some of our links. We've got a Twitch channel. We've got a YouTube channel. And you know what? Despite the technical difficulties, we all hope you had a wonderful time watching. And you know what? We hope to see you back next week because there's nothing better than seeing some fine VGC excellence.
That is absolutely true.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And
Have a good
we'll
night.
catch you next time.